Hi, I'm Jim, and I'm going to tell you about the time I had to hide in my crush's closet for 48 hours because her parents caught her having a party at their house. What would you do when the parents of the girl you're crushing on catch you having a secret party and you get kicked out of the house? You apologize for being caught doing something irresponsible and awkwardly and shamefully make your way out of the house, right? Or, if you don't have any manners, you sulk and flip off the parents as you exit their abode while calling them lame? Or, if you're an expert at extracting yourself from sticky situations, you'd scramble with the rest of the crowd and blend in, resulting in the parents not even noticing that you were there in the first place. I may not know very much, but the one thing I know for certain is if adults bust a party, you get out of there, not run further back into the house. But that's exactly what I did. That week marked the end of our senior year of high school, and in honor of that time in our lives, Becca decided to have a party. She invited everyone, even me. The awkward dork most known for DMing the town's longest running and only D&D campaign. Oh, and did I mention that this party was meant to take place at Becca's house, where her parents hardly ever went? They worked at a different state and mostly spent their time there. Becca's house was the big pink one. It's at the very top of the hill and has a wicked view of the whole beach. Becca told us that as long as we cleaned up after the party, she figured we can get away with a little hijinks. But what was supposed to be just a simple, innocent get-together easily turned into an affair which had too many games of spin the bottle and pairs of people disappearing upstairs. The simple celebration quickly devolved into a pool party, and soon enough, the house was mostly trashed. There was snacks and plastic cups littered everywhere, and the carpet was soaked from people going in and out of the house while wet from pool water. Becca was certain her parents were only going to be home the next day, a Saturday. I was explaining to Dean, one of our duller classmates, why dinosaurs had feathers when we heard a car pull up to the driveway. For everyone who heard the screeching tires, it was as if time slowed for a few moments, and we all exchanged mortified looks. We all knew we were about to get busted. And because I had no desire to be grounded during the summer vacation, I knew I was going to make myself scarce. The problem was, we were all by the pool at the back of the house. Some people scrambled over the fence, disappearing into the neighbor's yard, but I had no upper body strength to speak of, and so I knew immediately that the route was a no-go. In those few seconds, when I needed to make a decision, I ran for the stairs. It was just in time as well, because as soon as I'd hidden myself by the staircase, I heard the front door open, and Becca's parents let out expletives of surprise. "What the?" exclaimed Becca's dad. "Rebecca Jean Muller," said Becca's mom. "What in the devil have you done? How dare you throw a party in this house without our permission?" Becca could hardly speak from the shock of being caught. From the corner of my eye, I saw Dean making a run for the open door. From the sounds of it, Mr. Muller caught him before he could make his escape. "Don't try it, young man," came Mr. Muller's voice. "All of you, sit! You're to stay here until we call each and every one of your parents. I'll have them pick you all up, and I will be having words with them." "And you, young lady," came Mrs. Muller's disappointed voice. "You are grounded. Go to your room and stay there until we call you for dinner." "Yes, Mom. Sorry, Mom," was all Becca was able to say. And then my brain began to work again. Upstairs. Her room? Crap! She's gonna see me! And if Becca sees me, I'm gonna have to stay with my other unfortunate classmates who didn't get to escape. And as my parents were significantly stricter than anyone else's parents, if they ever found out I was at a secret party, I'd be grounded for the foreseeable future. My fight or flight instincts kicked in, and I chose to fly. Up the stairs, that is. I've seen people go down roofs before, and so I thought I could manage it too. I ran into the first room I saw and made for the windows. I tried to open them, but they wouldn't budge. I tried to lift it open with all my meager strength, but alas, that day was not the day I would make my daring escape from the Muller house. No sooner had I realized I was not going to get the window open that I heard footsteps coming up the stairs. It was Becca, and when I looked around, I realized that I'd inadvertently gone into her bedroom. It made the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. On one hand, it was so exciting to be in my crush's room. On the other, she was about to find out I was in there, and she'd probably think me of some sort of perv and creep. And so, I did what any insane person would do in that situation. I dove into her closet. I was lucky there was a pile of clothes on the closet floor, or I would have broken my nose. I quickly closed the closet doors behind me and tried my hardest not to squeal like an ecstatic fanboy creep when I realized I was sitting on Becca's used clothing. When Becca slammed her bedroom door closed, I had to put my hands over my mouth so she wouldn't hear me breathing so hard. I was in the same room as Becca Moeller, the prettiest girl I have ever met. And what a bummer that I couldn't let my presence known for fear of getting thrown out. I'm telling you, it was miserable. I had to lay still and quiet as I listened to her call every other girl who was lucky enough to make it out over the backyard fence. She was venting and talking about how lame it was that the party was cut short. And then she called Dean. They talked for a good while, and I couldn't help but feel jealous. I knew she was out of my league, but... Seriously? Dean? Of all the people she could be interested with, it was the dumb jock? I rolled my eyes for no one to see but the dresses that were hanging around me. Typical, I thought. I must have been there for about an hour when my nose began to itch, and with each scratch came the uncontrollable urge to sneeze. In panic, if I sneezed, she'd definitely find out I was in her closet, and then I would also become known as the creep who hid in Becca's closet and spied on her. I'd be lucky if her parents didn't get the police involved. And my parents? Oh, I can only begin to imagine what my parents would do to me. That was my main motivation for keeping that sneeze in. And just as I was about to lose control, Mrs. Moeller's voice carried from downstairs. "Becca!" she called. "Dinner! Come down here this instant!" Becca got up from her bed, straightened her dress, looked at herself in the mirror, and then made for the door. Those precious few seconds lasted an eternity for me, and as she closed her bedroom door behind her, I could no longer keep it in, and I sneezed in the quietest way I could manage. It was still loud enough that Becca heard. Her head popped back in and her eyes darted around the room, trying to find the cause of the noise. Her face had a creeped-out expression, and before she disappeared behind the door again, I heard her mutter, "Great. Now my room's haunted by a ghost with a friggin' cold." It must have been a long dinner. My phone had died long ago, and so I didn't have any sense of time anymore. I tried to stay awake, but the exhaustion of the day got to me. I must have dozed off because the next thing I felt was someone's hand slapping me awake. I felt her hand softly tapping my cheeks, and when all I did was mumble and then turn onto my side into the fetal position as I buried my face further into Becca's clothes, she slapped me squarely in the cheeks. "Wake up!" Becca shouted in a whisper. I bolted upright in shock. Oh, crap, I thought. She found me. It's over. I'll be thrown out of this house and I'll never be able to talk to Becca again. Luckily, the next words that came out of Becca's lips were, "Wake up, you idiot! You were snoring. My dad's on his way up and you better hide yourself better." She shoved me further and deeper into her closet, and then, without any concern for my ability to breathe, or the fact that she was burying me in her laundry, she piled a bunch of her clothes on top of me. Just in time, her bedroom door flew open and her dad came in. "I'm very disappointed in you, Rebecca," he said. "Your mom and I are very, very disappointed. How could you do this? We trusted you all this time. How many times have you thrown parties without telling us?" I heard Becca try to answer, but her dad cut her off. "Whatever," he said. "You're grounded. You're lucky we have a huge meeting scheduled for Monday. Otherwise, you'll be grounded for longer. No phone, no TV." With that, he was gone, and Becca's door closed again. I didn't have to hear her frustration. I knew Becca was pissed. How else was a teenager supposed to spend the start of a summer break without her phone or TV? And then it dawned on me. I was about to suffer the same fate. I was stuck there. If I tried to sneak out at night, I might injure myself. And if I turned up at home past sunset, my mom would beat the living crap out of me. And so, I decided, if I was gonna hide away, might as well make it worth it. I asked Becca if I could spend the night. I knew it was a long shot, but before I could even finish asking, she said with enthusiasm, "Yes!" She was probably bored, and so we spent all night talking and sharing our dreams for college. I told her about D&D, and she listened. She really listened. She would sneak downstairs and bring me food, and I slept on the floor beside her bed. By the time her parents left for work the next Monday, Becca and I had gotten very close. Before I said goodbye, ready to face my parents' wrath, she asked me, "Hey, Jim?" "Yes?" I said. "Do you have space for me in your D&D game?" said Becca. I swear, my ears began to feel so hot, I could feel steam coming off of them. "Yes!" I replied. "See you this Friday."